What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about here on a daily basis. Seems like the threat of World War III is ever around the corners. What just happened here literally just shows that it's almost, we're just steps away from it happening here. I'll show you here, right here in just a second here as we jump right in. Thanks so much for liking and sharing these videos. It really helps out our YouTube channel. We got a lot of different things to cover here today. I'm your source for keeping you up to date here with everything going on here in our country and around the world. And if you're new to our channel, make sure to click the subscribe button so you don't miss out on new videos. All right, let's jump right in. Here we go. North Korea fires 2 ballistic missiles capable of reaching Japan towards Japan. Japan being a U.S. ally, which, this type of thing, if it were to actually happen, could, create a World War III type of situation with the whole allies situation here. North Korea has threatened the U.S. multiple different times, just like Russia. That whole situation, Russia threatening the United States on a weekly basis as well. Here's what just happened here, just a few hours ago, actually. North Korea fired 2 missiles traveling from the country's northwest Tongchai area, about 500 kilometers or 310 miles, at a maximum altitude of 340 miles before landing in the waters between the Korean peninsula and between Japan, according to the South Korean and Japanese governments. The South Korean military described both missiles as medium-range weapons that were launched at a steep angle, suggesting they could have traveled further if fired at a standard trajectory. North Korea usually tests medium and longer-range missiles at a high angle to avoid neighboring countries, though it did fire an intermediate-range missile over Japan just in October, which was, 2 months ago. They actually shot it over the island of Japan. Yeah, imagine. Yeah, it forced Tokyo to issue evacuation alerts and halt trains. In an emergency meeting, South Korean security officials deplored North Korean continued provocations that they said came despite the plight of its citizens moaning in hunger and cold due to serious food shortages. So this shows you what they're worried about instead. They said South Korea will boast a trilateral security cooperation with the U.S. and Japan, according to South Korea's presidential office. Japanese Vice Defense Minister criticized North Korea for threatening the safety of Japan. The U.S. Indo-Pacific Command said the launches highlighted the destabilization impact of North Korea's unlawful weapons of mass destruction and ballistic missiles. It said the U.S. commitments to the defense of South Korea and Japan, quote, remain ironclad. They also said that these weapons could go up to 1,242 miles if launched with a normal trajectory, and that it did include U.S. military installations there. Some experts say that these missiles are nuclear capable, and that North Korea staged an armed protest with a land version of a submarine-launched ballistic missile that it can fire quickly in response. And this comes as a lot of countries, including Japan, are growing more and more worried about the state of the, I want to say state of the union, but state of the entire world. As a lot of people think the world, including Russia, China, Korea, North Korea, are growing increasingly more and more unstable. In fact, look at what Japan just did You can see here on Friday, the Japanese government just adopted a national security strategy that would allow it to carry out preemptive strikes and double its military spending to give itself more offensive footing against threats from neighboring China and North Korea. Yeah, so again, it would allow it to carry out preemptive strikes. Think about that for a second. Against neighboring China and North Korea. That was a major break from its strictly self-defense only post-war principle, World War II, in which we were enemies. Now we're allies, believe it or not. It's strange how just a few decades can change things pretty significantly. The Japanese strategy names China as the biggest strategic challenge before North Korea and Russia to Japan's efforts to ensure peace, stability, and safety. Japan's defense ministry said Sunday it detected a fleet of 5 Chinese warships, including an aircraft carrier off the southern Japanese island the previous day. Ministry officials said the fighter jets and helicopters were engaging in takeoff and landing exercises on the Chinese carrier, and the Japan responded by scrambling fighter jets and dispatching a destroyer. Now, Japan is not in NATO, you can see here, but they have been cooperating with NATO since the 1990s, which is actually more than Ukraine. And they're actually a closer ally than Ukraine is, and would presumably get a lot more assistance than, say, per Ukraine is right now. And I mean, you guys can let me know your thoughts here on this, but Russia, North Korea, and China really just kind of threats to the world here. I don't know. I don't know. Particularly Russia and North Korea, very, very unstable there. China hasn't been so much. They've actually shown a lot of restraint there. They've you know, Russia and North Korea much more unstable. They just literally throw around nuclear threats like, "Hey, we'll just use nukes if we have to." China, has been much more. They don't say things like that. They're I mean, they're more of a realistic kind of nation. We don't see that from China, um, but they do have the whole Taiwan issue where they want Taiwan. They think that Taiwan is part of one China. That's a different situation. We see some definite conflict there, but that's really kind of the only conflict that we well, I wouldn't say only one of the main conflicts we see from China. But when it comes to North Korea and Russia, completely different stories. Russia's the definition, well, really, Russia and North Korea, definition of loose cannons. Like, literally, you could wake up one day and Russia could be like, oh, well, we had to use nuclear weapons. Sorry, guys, Ukraine did this, that, or the other thing. Literally come up with any reason for it. And like, sorry, well, we had to. Our backs were against the wall. They gave us no choice. And that's kind of the problem. North Korea, same things. I mean, the same thing. It's just unbelievable, unbelievable. So, I mean, you guys can let me know your thoughts here. Scary thoughts, but they are over there. They are over there. Um, I don't know. I don't know. You tell me. Also, we're seeing a lot of this. COVID outbreaks throw Chinese factories and supply chains into chaos. They are really struggling with this over there. Millions of people in lockdowns, and they're trying to open it up there. And you can see here their closed loop system to protect employees and production likely to be overwhelmed. And yeah, it's just companies are being asked to step up production of in-demand medicine to cope with China's COVID wave, but factory workers are falling sick as well. Yeah, so Honestly, a lot of people here in the US dealing with COVID, RSV, and the flu. It is flu season here as well, and it just seems like a lot of it going around. When we look at the new daily cases here of COVID, it's kind of all over the place here. December 15th, 135,000 new cases per day. December 16th, 74,000 new cases per day. And of course, December 17th, because it's a weekend, they literally just don't report anything. Only 5,000 new cases. It's always been that way. The weekend just for some reason they just don't it just doesn't get reported here. And then December 14th, 154,000 new cases in one day. And remember here that we know, look at it, 154,000 new cases in one day. And remember here that nowadays we know that a vast majority of people, I don't want to say a vast majority because I who knows what the numbers are. We'll say a lot of people use at-home tests, and a lot of those don't get reported. There is some of them you can report it. There's like a, I don't know, a QR code or a way to report them. But who's kidding who? We know that a lot of people don't do that. Um, what percentage of people do? Probably, or likely very few. But so the problem here is that it's there. There's a chance. I don't even know how to say this, but there's probably a lot more cases. We look at a day. There's 150,000 plus people testing positive in a single day. Who knows how many there really is on that day? How many people aren't getting tested? How many people don't even know? I mean, I'm seeing people, my friends say, "Oh, I'm sick," and I respond to them. I'm like, "Well, did you get a COVID test?" And they're like, "No." And then it's just, people they're not even tested. They don't even know. And then like all of our friends responded like, "Well, your symptoms literally, they're classic signs of COVID." And they're like, "Oh yeah, maybe I should test." It's like, yeah, maybe maybe you should. And then so honestly, there could be, instead of 150,000 a day, it could be 250,000, 350,000, because most people, again, I can't say most because I don't know, but a lot of people are using at-home tests. Those numbers mostly are people going to official testing facilities or hospitals. Yeah, so keep that in mind. Also, I want to remind you here that you can get new free at-home COVID tests from the government. You go to covidtests.gov, covidtests.gov. These just became available here again. It's been a while since you've been able to get free tests. So these are free again. Just became available here, I think like today. Yeah, I think today or yesterday was like the first day these were just available here. COVID tests with an s.gov. Get free at-home tests. You just click this link and you go here. It also says before you throw out any expired tests, Laura, are you listening to this? Check to see if your expiration dates have been extended. Yeah. When you go to this website, there's a link here and they may have been extended. Because, a lot of those things, the expiration dates really aren't that long. And apparently they've extended the expiration dates on some of these tests. Seems odd. I mean, you guys let me know your thoughts on this, but honestly, we had some tests that expire. The expiration dates really weren't that long on them. I mean, what? I mean, a few months. I mean, we got them, and they expired. So the link says right here, check to see if your expiration date. I mean, you would think that these tests would last more than a few months. Well, anyways, there's a link right here on the website if you want to see it. But all you got to do to order these is put your name, address, and you don't even have to put your email in. But if you want to see if it gets lost in the mail, you can, or receive shipping updates. No credit card required, no nothing. It's completely free. You can get 4 tests per mailing address. So order them if you got, family, order them for them at a different address. Do it. It's free. It's better than paying $30 at the store per test. Do it. Also, Old Man Winter is making his appearance here yet again. Snow pummels part of Northeast. Thousands without power. Yeah, poor Buffalo taking it here yet again. Taking it on the chin here. Um, yeah, utility crews raced here Saturday and Sunday to restore power to tens of thousands of customers across New England and New York after a powerful storm dumped 2 feet of snow in some places. More than 160,000 customers in New England were in the dark and without heat. And another 20,000 were without power in New York as heavy snow brought tree limbs onto power lines. We're still taking on system damage in parts of the states where heavy, wet snow continues to fall, and hundreds of additional crews are coming to New Hampshire to support our restoration effort as well. 61,000 customers in New Hampshire since the beginning of the storm, and another 40,000 remain without power as well. And apparently there was so much snow, the temptation was too great that during the Buffalo Bills game, fans were warned that if they continue to throw snowballs, that the Buffalo Bills could be hit with 15-yard penalties for their fans throwing snowballs. Yeah, I guess that's one of the downsides to having home field advantage during a snowstorm. Yeah, my wife wants me to tell you about the time that me and my father made the, I don't know if I want to call it a mistake. Sometimes they call Cleveland the mistake on the lake. But me and my father decided we had tickets to go to a football game in Cleveland, of the Cleveland Browns game. And it was literally a blizzard, one of the worst ever. And me and my father call it the Blizzard Bowl. And first of all, we should have never went, but for some crazy reason, us Northeasterners, we said, yeah, let's go. It'll be fun. And it took us like, I don't know, hours to even get there. And it was just literally ridiculous, right? So we get there, and they can't even throw a pass. I mean, I think there was like 5 passes thrown in the game because it was literally a blizzard. You couldn't even see, and there was just wind gusting everywhere. Me and my father call it the Blizzard Bowl. Oh yeah, I mean you couldn't even see the lines on the field, and they were constantly like, dusting them off and trying to, brush them off to even see what was going on. When we got to our seats, we had like a foot or two of snow on the seats that we had to brush off, and it was like sitting in a blizzard in the football game. And they didn't cancel. You know how they recently canceled, or they moved a football game here recently? They didn't do that in Cleveland. And we sat there, and by halftime, we're like, this is crazy. And we left at halftime. But it was just unbelievable. And of course, it took us like hours to get home afterwards. It was completely dangerous. Yeah, so we were walking, and my dad was literally getting blown over by the wind. The wind was so strong that it was literally, the wind was taking my father and blowing him over. That's how crazy it was. It was like a human wind tunnel. And yeah, so that was my Blizzard Bowl story. Yeah, we should have never won. But I guess we have a good story too, and we made it. Everybody was safe and stuff. So I guess we have a good story to tell, and we're telling it to you here. So yeah, that was a Blizzard Bowl story. But I mean, honestly, I kind of wonder, how many people like, weren't safe that day because those conditions are really, really, those are the type of conditions that people like getting crashes and stuff all the time. So be safe, be safe. So I'll keep you up to date here. Let me know your let me know if you have any interesting stories like that in a Blizzard Bowl type of situation, or if you've been out in really bad snow conditions, or if you've ever had a condition where you opened up the door and it was just like all snow. I've seen some videos like that where people like open their door and it's just snow. Yeah, if the snow's taller than you, it's not a good time. Yeah. So
Or I'm not camera ready. Or back in college when I was coming home, or when your husband tells you the reason why your car didn't make it in the driveway was because you didn't gun it fast enough.
you're a nor'easterner when you say to your wife, you got to gun it faster to get in the driveway. It was true.
And then your car door freezes shut in the
Oh
driveway.
yeah, those are the best, right? When your car door freezes shut, or you get an ice storm. Yeah. So I'll keep you up to date here. Let me know your stories here in the comments. If you live in the South and you don't have to deal with this stuff very often, you're lucky. But I mean, I'm sure every place has their own kind of stuff here. Yeah. So thanks for liking and sharing these videos. Don't forget to subscribe down below if you haven't yet, so you don't miss out on new videos. It's completely free to do so. New videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can click here to watch my newest video next, or you can click here to see my new video about a Social Security letter coming. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.